Yeah, it's been busy. As you
Oh yeah.
know, it's been as soon as it gets nice out,
Oh
gotta
man.
get that shooting in, man. Get that volume up. That's for
I
sure.
see the videos, but yeah, you've been busy enough. We haven't even really been chatting a whole lot on over text message and stuff. The odd videos here back and forth, but yeah, I definitely can tell when you're trying to squeeze in as much as you can with the rifles and with the archery and stuff.
Yeah,
You got a
you too,
busy
man.
life. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
you too. It's as you know, nonstop.
Oh
That's
yeah.
the thing about archery that's tricky because you take too long of a break, you start getting kind of shitty.
Oh man, it's crazy how quick you might not lose it all, but when you're in the
Hmm.
groove, you're in the groove. And
Yeah.
yeah, I hate missing even a single day myself, but especially when you're trying to build stuff or try new products or anything like that.
Hmm.
I know we've all been trying try to get those super saber veins to stick on our arrows just to see if they're even usable because I know
Yeah.
we were all having problems getting to stick with glues and stuff. And yeah, so I didn't really want to say a whole lot until, I'd shot enough because I found out the secret sauce.
What are you shooting like a 2 degree offset on that?
Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. I've just got a cheap fletching tool. I got to upgrade next year. But yeah, I'd say it's pretty close to 2 degrees offset. Um, and what it came down to is I ended up having to call up Jared Harrop from the bowstring company there because I knew he's associated with a couple of the shooters from Archery World. I shot with them at the
Hmm.
Ironman. So they were all using these Super Saber veins, and so he went and asked them how they're getting them to stick because we couldn't get them to stick. And it seems like the trick is AAE glue, and it has to be newer stuff. It can't be sitting around for 6, 7 months or whatever. And their primer pen. So far, I don't know, I got 100, 200 shots with these things. Um, Used broadheads with them tonight. So, and that was the other thing too. I wasn't vouching for them until I actually did some broadhead tuning and saw them with fixed blades and all that kind of stuff. Um, Dude, they're ripping. They are ripping. I didn't finish off tonight, but I got up to 50 yards. I just didn't. I had some other stuff I had to do, but small little itty bitty tiny adjustment on my rest, and they're shooting laser beams.
Do you
I've
pick up
tried
some
quite a few.
speed?
I don't have a chrono, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring both bows to Kevin's place because I'm heading to Kelowna in 2 weeks or a week and a half, whatever it is, for the Kamloops shoot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna head. I know he's got the chrono, so I was like, I'm just gonna bring both bows because I have no idea how fast it's shooting. I know I got it maxed out, but I was having some issues with some tears when I was paper tuning and stuff,
At
and
max.
at max, and I wasn't
Yeah.
before. So talking to Kevin and stuff, we were kind of bouncing ideas back and forth, and everything was bang on timing, the whole 9 yards. So we kind of figured that it's possible that gained a bit of speed, and I was sitting on the edge of which spine I should be on. So it's potential that I was going to have too weak of a spine by speeding it up. Um, but instead of chasing paper forever and getting frustrated, I just started shooting outside with them. I just said, fuck it. And man, they were grouping really good. So I don't really care what the paper was saying. As soon as I threw some veins on it, I mean, they're touching. They're touching at 50, 60. Veins are still touching. So it's like, well, I can't argue those results. And then the big one was tonight because or field points are one thing, fixed blades are another. And man, they flew like darts. They were awesome. So I'm really happy with these veins and quiet. That was the one thing I noticed at the Ironman shooting side by side with some of these guys. I shot the AE Max Hunters. They were great. I was shooting bullets with them, but they're loud. There's
Yeah.
there's no arguing that they're a loud vein. Um, but these things, I can't test the volume and just using my ears, but I they're so much quieter than the other ones.
Yeah,
And
you
if I
can
can get,
tell like just at the range, like in Lethbridge, we got the 3D and then
yeah,
just the blank target. So I always shoot the blank targets, but I pay attention to people shooting and you can really tell
yeah,
because you're kind of like when you're picking up your arrows, you're not downrange, but you're kind of perpendicular to where they're shooting. So they're shooting across
yeah,
and it's noticeable, man. Like you can tell when someone has a big ass vein on the back that's really pliable. You can
yeah.
hear that flapping, and it's very very pronounced. It's like a almost like a tarp flapping. Hey,
That's a good way to describe it,
yeah.
actually. Yeah. And these things, I don't know if they're stiffer. I'm not sure what it is or if it's just the material themselves, but like quieter, noticeably quieter. And I was shooting
Yeah.
actually in some wind. It was picking up at the end. So I was like, well, I'm happy where I'm at, like even at like 40 yards. I was like, it was just a quick test. I'm not done anyway. But the wind started picking up, and I was like, well, screw it. Let's see what it does at 50. I'm not going to make any more adjustments. I shot 50 yards, bullseye. And I was like, fixed blade in the wind. Can't complain about that. I'm not really going to know what it's going to do until, I start getting out to 70 yards with it because
Hmm.
I like shooting those fixed blades farther than what I'm actually going to shoot an animal at. And then I know there's no second guessing.
Yeah.
Pull back and shoot when you're in your effective range. Your equipment's 100%, so that's what I want to get these to. But just watching the flight of them, the sound, it's like seems like a next step up as far as I'm concerned in comparison to what I was using. I won't say for anybody else because I'm not knocking any other brands. I'm not sponsored by anybody, nothing like that. This is just personal use.
Hmm.
Um, but it doesn't matter. Just hit your damn target. But these things I'm thoroughly happy with them now. So it's what I'm going to be running at for our bear hunt that we're going to in a month.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Which
on the fence. I don't want to switch something, but
I
I
know,
put
I
an
know.
insert on my arrows, and I'm on the edge of under spine. I always do that. If I think I'm on the line, I'll put a like a heavy insert, like a collar,
Yeah.
and then see how they group. And I'm getting lots of left and right. I'm like, that's spine. Usually, um, I've been noticing just in general, I'm at that like 300. I think I need to bump it
Okay.
to a 250.
So do you think you'll go back to kind of where you were? Like, are you going to lighten it up just a little bit? I'm just thinking about for
Yeah,
our bear hunt because we're going in May, end of May.
I'm probably gonna shoot the same arrow, but
Okay.
then I'm gonna probably go to the HLRs
Okay.
just because the GPI is there. Like,
Okay.
because I don't like being at 470 plus, like I have in the past, but I just don't like the trajectory, right?
Yeah.
I like that 460, 461, 465, like that, right? That area is nice because I'm at, roughly 290, 295 for
Okay.
speed. Uh, but I do notice when it hits an animal that it's a little bit more oomph behind it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be interested to see how fast this thing's shooting because I am sitting, if I remember right, I think I'm at 468 for my total arrow weight, which I just find they group really well.
Hmm.
And I seem like on 3D courses, like where we are, where it's super tight, I seem to be able to push it through those little windows and holes. So I know I don't have the huge arc. Um, I'm pushing 70 pounds, but I don't have the long draw length like you guys do, like
Hmm.
Kevin and you. I mean, especially you. You got a couple inches on me, but because I'm only 28 and a half inch, so I know I don't have that extra oomph in behind it. But
Yeah,
I
I'm thinking about even extending it a little. I
are
feel
you?
like I am a little compressed. Yeah.
What are you at right now?
Uh, 30 and a half.
Okay.
Typically, like Matthews, I shoot 31.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in that like the solo cam, I was shooting 31 and a half.
Okay.
Like maxed out like 31, and then I'll use my D loop to get a little bit of extra to fine tune it. But I've been thinking about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
do I want to
Would you
do that?
would you just try quarter inch at a time, like maybe with the D loop, just
Yeah,
something quick that you can cut off and go back to, you know.
yeah. I have tried that. I did extend it a little, and I know like my draw length's 30 and a half, but I did extend it a little bit just to kind
Okay.
of feel it's just I just want a little extra ability to articulate in
Yeah.
my release because
Yeah.
I feel
Without
like I
affecting the
can
twist in your
torque a
string.
little. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna go to Spectra just to get a little more pliability instead of the
On
traditional
your,
D-loop. Yeah, on the
okay.
D-loop material.
What are you
Just to,
running right now for that?
uh I'm just I was running Spectra, but I ran out. I had a
Okay.
little bundle of it. Now I'm just like standard BYC,
Okay. Yeah, that's what I got is
BYCY.
that. I got the 23, not
Yeah,
the
that's
24. I
what I
think
was.
24 is what most people use.
Yeah, I this stuff, the one on my bow right now is 24.
Oh,
But
okay.
I had 23, but I was on my turbo. Yeah, so
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I'm gonna I got a new string to put on my bow, so I got to get that done ASAP. I'm kind of hesitant because it's shooting
Just
really
because
well,
everything's, oh man, that's a tough
really
one.
well. But I know if I put it off, the amount of volume I'm shooting, it can go to hell. Factory strings are just
Oh man.
not the
May as well
best.
just bite the bullet and get it over with.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that's what
kind
I'm
of what
doing.
I was panic. Well, not panicking. I was concerned about changing too much because I had to put new strings on both bows. But I'm heading, like I said, I was heading to that Kamloops shoot with Kevin here right around the
Hmm.
corner. So it's like I had to get that thing banging. And then it's like, okay, well, I also have to get this hunting bow at least 3/4 set up so that because it's only like 3 weeks after or something like that. Like time is
Yeah,
not on our side when it comes to going for that trip. I'm not worried about September. There's lots of time for that. It was like, okay, I need this thing like spot on for our hunt here. And yeah, it was just like, but I finally, yeah, I'm happy now. After tonight, I'm good. I'm just gonna focus on the 3D bow now and try not to embarrass myself. I got to kick that Kevin's ass here, but he is shooting lights out
yeah,
this
he's
year.
shooting
So
good.
yeah,
Yeah, it's oh, and he's got that hot
yeah,
rod Lift
yeah,
X, baby.
yeah.
I shot my buddy Nick's, and that it's kind of love at first sight, to be honest.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
a through and through white shooter, but um,
pretty sweet
that
bow.
that was enough for me to contemplate changing. Because like I'm
Really?
pretty brand loyal, just because
Yeah,
you just get used to it's like a Chevy or a Ford. You just kind of like them,
yeah.
but so it's got to be something significant. But yeah, it was 80 pound. He's got the same like if my bow fucks up, I can just call him up. Hey, I need to borrow your setup because either or we're like we got the same setup,
Well,
everything,
that's
like
good.
same peep height, draw length,
Awesome.
everything. But he's shooting an 80 pounder, and man, feel like you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill some shit with this thing, like
Oh, really?
fast.
What kind of speeds are coming out of that thing?
I think he was getting like almost like 303.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with
Now,
like
what does it feel like? That's a lot of weight. I've never pulled an 80-pound bow. What's it feel like in comparison to pulling the 70s?
uh, it's a little less than my turbo.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
that's good
yeah.
because that's a speed bow for you.
Yeah, yeah, that thing is like freaking ridiculous. It like shoots that thing like that was probably like when I drew back the new stuff because I just had shot that bow for like 6 7 years.
Yeah,
Going from that to the new shit, it's like oh this is like a little kid's bow. Like a
yeah,
70 80 pounder. I'm like oh this is like a little kid's bow. Like this is like I could like pull it and just like oh so this is like a major relief. Like I could practice with this
yeah.
thing. You know, that thing I had 531 grains, I think, FMJs, and I was going 285. Like
Wow,
freaking lasers. So then like 461 access, I was shooting a little over 300 at 31 at
that's
a
awesome.
31-inch draw length in that one. But so it's like comparable to that. I would say it's not as obnoxious. It's just you like you feel it. Like you draw
Yeah,
back. It has a pretty stiff uh draw cycle, but it's not I don't know if you've shot the PSCs,
no.
the 34, the Mach 34 in performance mode. It's not like that.
Oh, okay.
That is like for me, at least in my draw length, was kind of obnoxious in the back end. It kind of knocks right in. It's like clunk. Felt like, and you shudder a little bit. This
Yeah.
isn't like that. This is like
Okay.
nice and steady. No real steep front end, not for me anyway. And like I like reading online, lots of guys saying that it's kind of jumpy in the valley. I shooting a turbo all the time. I'm kind of like
Don't even notice it.
I don't notice it because I'm pulling so hard in the back end. Even with my RX-7, I still hold hard in the back end because
Yeah.
that turbo, you like flinch or like slouch even, and it's like oh, it wants to
Oh,
go
and it
right
wants
away,
to
right?
jump.
Oh yeah. That's where you're getting that speed, right? There's zero creep. But
That's
biggest
yeah,
thing
that
though is the feel. The feel is it's really good, man. Like the grip is like square, and
nice. I
I
like
just
that.
love the way that they got it like textured where it's
Okay.
very pronounced. I think it's at the bottom it's more pronounced, like tactile.
And
So when
then
you put your
they
hand in, you really feel like if you're heeling in hard, you
okay.
feel that and you're like, "Oh, I'm putting too much torque. I'm heeling in on the heel."
Don't they have a kit for grips too
Yep.
now? If I remember right. Now, is that just the feel of it, or is that like an angle?
Both.
You just oh, okay,
Yeah, they got
okay,
angle and textured. But that
nice.
factory grip is like money. Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yep.
I think that might be personally, if I'm gonna change over, that's what it'd be. Just with a little bit of tunability. I'm always hesitant to adopt new technology and new things just
Yeah.
because I like other people to figure it out first. Just from my background at work, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
ugh. Anytime I
Let
see something
somebody
that's
else
like
battle for
double
it.
planetary carrier bearings and like weird stuff, I'm like, oh, that's not gonna work. I just look at stuff, I'm like, oh, so we're torquing the limbs instead of,
Yeah.
tilting the cams, just the way, just like Bowtech versus Matthews. I'm always just
Yes.
curious how that all plays out, right?
It's good to let people figure it. It's like a new engine in a pickup truck. The first year, it's like maybe it's good, maybe
Yeah,
it's not. We're gonna find out when the
yeah,
warranties start flying at after a year or whatever. But
exactly.
maybe it's awesome. But yeah, and I got to say, yeah, the difference in like I've got the two. I've got the Hoyt, my Ventum Pro, 33 there, and I love the feel. I love that bow. I always have, always will.
Hmm.
Um, this Bowtech took some getting used to, but man, the adjustability is so nice. And I just love
Hmm.
the feel of it. It's a 60-pound bow versus the 70-pound bow. And I've got it set up so that I'm holding more weight, which I've kind of learned I like a little more. Just that pin
Yeah.
float slows down. But just to micro adjust that thing, be like, I wonder if it can get better. And you
Hmm.
just do a little tiny tweak, and it's like, oh, I think it feels better where you are limited to what you can do on some um, other bows brands and stuff. I know you get a little more adjustability if you've got a bow press, but I'm going to speak for the average person who doesn't have one. The amount of stuff you can do is insane with these new bows. Like just like you say, whether it's limbs or cams rolling back and forth, whether it's, um, cam lock technology or something like that. Like I don't know what they call it for the Bowtech, but instead of twisting cables, you've
I don't
got
know.
like
I
a
think it's deadlock. I think that's what it is.
deadlock. Yeah,
Deadlock.
deadlock.
Like, yeah,
There you go. So I mean, instead of twisting cables or untwisting cables, they've got a set screw and everything, and you can stretch them out and twist them in Allen key. It's pretty sweet. So
yeah. It's
yeah,
I don't know how those guys do it. They keep coming up with shit.
I I'm wondering when they're going to run out because I don't know what else they can do. It's
I
I mean
think they
awesome.
go,
Keep going guys cuz thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
I feel like they go back and forth between feel, comfort, and speed.
Yeah.
And they just kind of perpetually try and improve on little things, um, and solving problems when you create innovative things, right? Because
Yeah.
I think you induce problems, like especially with the like how lightweight everything is becoming. Like that's the
Yeah.
only reason why like the Hoyt, it felt good, it shot great, but ultimately it's more expensive, so there has to be the weight has to be less. Like I wouldn't have bought that bow if it wasn't half a pound lighter than the Phase 4,
It's fair enough.
right? Just because of that fact. Like Phase 4 shot pretty close. They're flagships. They're the best, right? So
Yeah.
like, the feel is so minute, the difference between the two. So it comes down to, okay, this is a half pound lighter. All right.
Yeah.
Well, and the cost, I'm always just trying to get the best because I'm going to hold on to it for a bit. I think, you know, I'll hand it to the guys who can shoot a different bow every year. I typically don't like that. I like being
Yeah.
very used to my setup and like the old faithful kind of thing, right?
Like an old pair of slippers. They
Yeah,
just
like a
feel
pair of
good. You're
boots, right? Yeah,
just used to them. Yeah.
yeah, it fits you.
And nothing
And
wrong with
and
them.
and like I think something that like obviously everybody focuses on the romantic shit, like oh, like how it shoots, the hand shock and how smooth the draw. But
Yep.
like when the first thing I always do, just because I'm not typically shooting that much when I'm hunting, right?
Yeah.
You're just carrying that fucking thing for days and days on end. And stocks, I always look at like the ergonomics of the carrying ability of it.
Yeah.
I always look at that. I always have a tough time with aluminum bows because if it has a sharp corner, just how I hold a bow, I think about that and it really bothers me. I have a tough time adopting new bows for that reason because even like my new um, carbon, I think it wasn't until the second year that I really started like carrying it
Okay.
because you get used to like I put my arm a certain way and like I don't use slings and I don't use like hangers or whatever,
I was
right?
gonna ask if you use like
Yeah.
anything like the bow hitch or the bow spider or anything like
No,
that.
no, I always carry them, and so
Okay.
that's a big deal to me, right? Because
Yeah.
if it's uncomfortable to, to be, because I look at it like I already have so much shit hanging off me when I'm calling elk, calls and stuff clanking and reeds and your harness and all this shit everywhere. It's so chaotic. I just want that bow just holding it to my side
Yeah.
and like able to like brace it on my forearm a little bit, but yeah, those Matthews, I look at them like it's so because I've been shooting so many carbons for so long. I'm just like, how do I carry this thing? Like I know guys do it, but it's just different, right?
Yeah.
But the Lift X, that's the first one in a long time where I was like, okay, this is like a big difference.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what Kevin will
Well,
he'll get some reps on that thing. He'll let us know.
you get some reps, but his
Yeah.
scores aren't gonna be as high.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm not laying down for nothing.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. You got to keep that competitiveness alive.
Oh
Start
yeah.
poking jabs.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be
It's been
concentrated
happening.
because you haven't been talking as much on the podcast.
No,
Money.
that's for sure. Not only that, actually, it should be even more entertaining because I think they're filming some of it too, just for some random stuff.
Hmm.
So yeah, it'll be quite entertaining. It's going to be a good time, irregardless. I'm looking forward to. I haven't been to the Kamloops shoot, so
Oh
it's
yeah.
supposed to be a good one. They get a whole bunch of new targets from Italy as well, SRT targets. So I've been talking to a couple of the people there that are in that group and uh, get face to face with a couple people who I haven't met who are part of that group. We might look at getting some of those targets potentially, how depending on how they hold up
Hmm.
for our shoot for the bighorn.
Oh yeah.
Just because with all the U.S. tariffs and shit, the cost of targets and getting them up here, even just finding targets, has been nothing short of a nightmare. So we're hoping I'm going to talk to them. I'm not sure who their distributor is and everything, but the price wasn't bad. It was very comparable, and they got lots of targets. So it's more of a we'll see how it holds up because usually they got about I think 250 to 300 shooters there.
Hmm.
So yeah, I definitely want to get in some talks and just see what how they do. So hopefully we'll have some more new stuff then for our shoot.
I just picked up another target.
What did you get?
Oh, they're custom.
Oh, I see.
Local spray
Oh,
foamed, baby.
Oh, I
Big
see.
ones, big, like box of a truck big. I got two of them.
No shit, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like in
The
shape of animals or just backstop
big
kind of
cubes, big
big cubes. Very
giant
nice.
cubes. Yeah, they're shot to shit. I'm gonna redo the centers on them.
Okay.
Um, but then now that I have two of them, so then I'll be able to set them up. I don't know if I'm gonna put them at the
Okay.
shop or something. I gotta figure that out. My wife's like, "Why is there another one here?" Like, we're
So about
storing
that.
them. One's in the back of my truck. It's been in there for a week. I'm like, I gotta wait till some stuff calms down at work before I can start figuring out where the hell I'm gonna put them. But just
That's
so I can
awesome.
shoot every day, right? That's
Yeah.
that's that's a grind. It's just getting those reps in.
Yeah.
Like obviously we like shooting in adverse conditions, but when you put a new string on and you need to really test with
Oh
no
yeah.
no other elements, no wind, no headwind, no side, shit. Just getting those reps in where you got that aggregate average of like, okay, I'm hitting high, but that could be from the light conditions through your peep
Yes.
and just how you're feeling. If you're feeling really tight, muscle wise, your back's tight or something. You can start shooting a bit higher, shooting a little bit low, but aiming, and that's something you can speak on. The mentality
Oh man.
changing from like hitting something pretty big,
Yeah.
pretty small, but pretty big versus
Yeah.
I am aiming one arrow exactly on that X
Yep.
and chasing that X.
Oh man.
What's that been like?
Oh
The
dude.
big mental shift, I'm guessing.
It
Has to
is
be.
yeah, it's gone from, I know it's not easy because I've done a few shoots with it now. But once you realize, okay, the bow is set up, there's no more excuses. Everything's tuned. I've got lots of reps in. There's none of this, oh, I haven't been shooting for 2 months or a
Yeah.
month or anything, or new string, haven't figured out. No, no, everything's good to go. So, what my, yeah, I think the most frustrating part is you shoot a bunch of good ones, dead center, or, even if you do miss that X, honestly, it's the tiniest, not even a quarter inch out. And you're like, okay, that was just a little bit of this or a little bit of that on your release. And so my biggest focus lately has been focusing on talking myself through my release because my whole process is the same every time. The way I knock an arrow, the way if I were to shift or adjust my sights and stuff like that, or sorry, like my rolling pin, I would do that at a 3D shoot, the exact same timing and exact same steps.
Yeah. Process.
But when you're shooting paper, you don't have to, right? You got your
Hmm.
20-yard pin per se, it's set there. So what I've been doing is literally talking myself just through. I'm a command shooter. I do pull through my release, but I know for a fact that I do squeeze it at the very end. Now the trick is to get that exactly at the exact same spot every single time for that nice clean release. And I was doing really good in my scores. I'm not using lenses or anything. It's all hunter category for everything else, just like I'm going out hunting. So same stable, short stabilizers, all that kind of stuff for all the competitions. Um, and I was averaging, I think it was about 294 to 296 almost most days, any given day. That's kind of up and down a little bit. And I switched my mentality. It was actually last night. I was out in the backyard and was doing really good. And then just that oddball shot. And you're just like, where the hell did that nine come from? And not by
Hmm.
much, but just like, why? Everything was banging. So last night I decided I shot I think it was a 295 and fair amount of X's, but not as many as I wanted. And then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to focus on my X count because in the regional shoots that we do here, we don't do the Vegas Big Ten. It's the same, it looks like the same target, but the X is the 10. There is no X's counted. It's 10 and the rest of the yellow is 9. So the 10 ring that people count, that's all 9. It's literally that dime is
Hmm.
a 10. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to practice for that. I'm not going to worry about the 300 anymore
Yeah.
because if I just focus on Let's see how many X's I can get to practice for the other shoots that I do. The scores will follow because, it's emphasizing on that aim small, miss small. And I'm not, instead of aiming at, this for the viewers who can't see, that's representing the 10 ring. Now it's
Mm-hmm.
like I'm aiming even smaller. And it seemed to work last night. And the other thing that I really practiced on and seemed to really come through last night was letting down. You got that certain shot timing process.
Yeah.
And if that pin's not settled, like the last shot that was a perfect shot, letting down. Because there's lots of times I would hold it for that extra second. And then it would be like, and then I'd shoot. And then be like, just out a little bit. I should have let down. Why didn't I let down? So last night I shot my highest X count. I shot a
Mm-hmm.
297 with 19 X's. And beforehand, I think 14 was my highest. And I'd average around 10, 11, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
So really aiming small. I bet you I let down. I don't think I'd lie if I said 10 times. I was shooting in a bit of wind, but it was just that timing. And it's like, no, let's just practice on letting down. And then we'll try again. And then it'd be a great shot. And then instead of it being, why didn't you let down? It was like, oh, yeah, that really worked. That was, I probably, I might have missed because my bow was kind of dancing a little bit. And, I was trying to force it basically, is what it was coming down to. So I think that's been the biggest mental challenge is focusing on that shot process, talking yourself through it, and just letting down. Don't force the damn shot
Mm-hmm.
because most of the time when you're in those competitions anyway, you got lots of time to get 3 arrows off. I think you have like 2 minutes and 10 seconds or something. So it's
Yeah, and
lots of
it
time.
probably relieves a lot of stress, right? Because then
It
you're
does.
not forced to make the shot. You can let down. You can try
Yes.
again, right? Because I know I've had that before. There's a lot of similarities between shooting, like say for instance, if I'm trying to like prove the accuracy of a rifle, I'm trying to shoot very small, very precise groups, and you're exactly 100% correct. The finer the aiming point, inherently you're more accurate. That's just
Yes.
the way it is. That's why you want crosshairs. You want a thing that's very finely intersecting with itself instead of just like a big old dot.
Yeah.
Because the dot is it's not as precise, right? Like to within reason, like your pins can't be covering it, right? But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right? And that's the thing, right? Is you start shooting good, that anxiety starts
Yeah.
building. It really does. It's like
Oh,
there's no
fuck
one
yeah.
here. It's good practice for competition, but when you're really trying to like, oh shit, I got really something good going on here, you're like, oh
Yeah.
my God. You get in your head and you draw back. It's like that buck fever kind of thing. You start your
Yeah.
heart rate and you start holding your breath when you shouldn't. You should just need respiratory pause. And then you start thinking about it. You're like, why am I doing something different?
Yeah.
Let down.
Yeah. And it
Let
doesn't
down.
even
Let it
matter
go
what it
away.
is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're shooting your rifle and it's like your 5 shot group and it's your fifth
Yeah.
shot, your
Yeah.
four are stacked. It doesn't matter if it's just your first clean round or that's your goal for the year is clean
Hmm.
rounds in 3D. So you want to shoot
Yeah.
par or, just don't shoot an 8. And then it's like that last one. It's like, oh yeah, last target, last target. And it's like, just don't shoot the 8. And it's like, why am I even talking about the 8?
Yeah.
And yeah. And then
There,
you put undue stress on yourself.
yeah, it's funny that you say don't.
Yeah.
Don't. I got a little bit of coaching from Tom here at one of the local ranges, and he's, your resident old guy. He shoots target lots, and he's just one of those bros, right? Like played hockey, played all sorts of sports,
Yeah.
done everything. He has coached a lot of like youth and like target, and that was an interesting takeaway from just shooting with him. I always run into him early, hey, like at the
Yeah.
range. And that was the one thing is reinforce the things you want to do.
Yes.
Don't say, don't drop my bow arm. Don't drop my bow arm. Just
Yeah.
hold steady. Hold steady on target.
Yeah.
Hold steady on target. Instead of, getting loud in your head, instead of just saying the thing you don't want to fuck up on.
Yeah.
Because,
Talk about the positive things that you're
yeah,
going. Yes, pin is
yes,
on there. Pin is floating nicely.
yeah,
Pin's in the middle. Start pulling back. Start pulling back.
yeah. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
shaky. Let down.
Yeah.
I'm floating low. I'm floating
And
low and
it's
then hopping up. Like
and it's easy to talk about just let down. Oh yeah, yeah. Every one of us and anybody that tells me any different, I'm calling bullshit on them. Every single one of us at some point, it's like, oh, I can still do this. I can do it. I can do it. I'll just squeeze it off. Oh yeah, I got it. It's in there. It'll go.
it's
And
not
you
worth it.
always regret after. I mean, unless it goes in. But I think that's the problem is
You're
enough
reinforcing it.
enough random ones do happen to turn out to be, a decent score. Not that it was a good shot, but
Yeah.
it just happened to land in there. And then it's like, oh yeah, next time I can do the same thing. Whereas if you would have let down, you probably would have scored, well, you would have scored the same, if not possibly a little better, but it would have been a full process of a great shot instead of you got lucky.
And what
You
are
know what
you
I mean?
reinforcing, right? Like
Yeah.
what habits are you reinforcing? It's no different than shooting too much volume to the point that you start shooting like shit and you're just pumping out reps of garbage, right? That's why I like keeping track of, like exactly like you're doing, keeping track of scores,
Yeah.
because then you have some sort of metric, some sort of indication of when you make a change, is it positive or negative?
Yes. And I don't know about you. Tell me if you're different here. So because I've been doing minute changes and I've been working a lot of form stuff with these two bows, getting them set up. I was really focused on my chase to 300. That's my goal for the
Yeah.
summer. But I started getting to the point where I felt I was getting a little too nitpicky, and I won't say losing the fun because any day on the range is fun for me. I love shooting long distance shit, just longer.
Yeah.
I love grouping at 60, 70, 80 all the time. So I had to actually take a step back last week and I headed down to the shop and then I was able to, confirm again, always going back to confirm stuff, making sure my sight tapes are good and,
Yep.
stepping back to 60 and grouping and stepping back to 70. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is my jam. This is what I actually like to do. I love the short stuff. It's fun, but I love the long stuff,
I shoot
especially when
better with
you're
long
grouping good.
bombs, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't know what it
So,
is. I can shoot almost tighter, depending on the wind, at 100 versus 40. Sometimes 40, I'm just like, you're just not, you don't even care. You're like,
yeah,
yeah, think, oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah, it's like, it's 40,
yeah,
60, 70, then 100. I'm hyper focused. And that's the thing I've tried to focus on is how do I capture that level of attention mentally
yeah,
in every single shot? Because, I just found that I'm always cheating. I'm always rushing on the close stuff because it doesn't matter. I know I'm gonna hit, right? I don't have to give it 100% attention, right? And that's maybe the thing is like when you're shooting the long distance, it feels good. How do you reinforce that in every single shot process?
yeah. It's a good question because that there is something I know I'm gonna be talking to you about it throughout the summer because provincials and nationals this year, in our category, it's 40 yards and under. It's all
Yeah,
technical shit.
yeah,
It's not the fun 60, 70 yard stuff. It's the stuff where you start taking shots for granted. You look at it and be like, I'll pinwheel that.
mm-hmm,
And then you're out half an inch and you're like, well, shit, I just dropped a point. That
yep,
was unnecessary. That's a doable shot. There's no reason for me to miss that. I'm not saying they're all easy. I'm just,
yeah,
you know what I'm getting at. You
yep,
you take those shots for granted instead of like you're saying 70, 80, 90, everything. You're focused on it. If you're not happy with it, you let down. And that's going to be, I think, the biggest challenge is somehow, I don't know if anybody's got any suggestions. How do you bring like what Derek said that hyper focus from the long distance fun stuff or whatever you find fun to whatever you don't find as enjoyable. For us, it's the shorter shots. I'm curious how people's you can do that mentally. What is your process to doing that? Because I need to figure it out. I'll take any help I can get.
yeah. And I think just like pin gap, like shooting, I think for me is something that I've been putting a little more attention to, like the
Okay.
ultra close, like not like, hey, what's my Like what are my individual, like what's my danger space? We call it in rifle danger space. Like
Yeah.
what's my up and down where I can hit in a certain degree of precision, of accuracy, um, at different distances with each pin. How much leeway do I have to still hit within an inch or two
Yes.
inches at different distances if I'm not exactly correct in my yardage? That's one thing I've really paid closer attention to is okay, so I like I range. Okay, like how certain do I have to be of that exact range to really hone in and hit that dot exactly? Like how much attention do I have to put to that ranging? Because
Yeah.
I found that, like some of my setups have been so finicky that um if I don't range and then range again, confirm, especially if it's really bright with lasers and targets and reflective
Okay.
kind of like weird shine paint, like some of the targets I shoot are painted. Like I get that like half 2 yards, like a
Okay.
yard, or it's like fluctuating depending on the conditions, so the lighting conditions. That's, 50, 60 yards. Like when you're trying to hit a dot that big, that's a miss.
Yeah. That's a
In
big
in
deal.
your head, you're like, I'm not hitting the black, even though it's a small dot.
Yeah.
So like
Pretty
how
good
to,
shot.
yeah, it's
Just
a good
not where
shot.
you wanted.
Exactly, right? And that gets in your head. And then so, understanding like, okay, how much leeway do I have? How much forgiveness do I have at different yardages, especially for like a hunting dynamic situation?
Yes. Well,
30,
like you say too,
35.
knowing your gap in that animal you've got and you zoomed him in at 50, 51, 52, whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's taken a step and you're like, shit, okay, I don't have to worry about it because I know I got that little bit of leeway. Exactly what you're saying. Like, you're still going to hit that kill zone,
Yeah,
when you put,
for an elk, I like that 80 yards. It's like 80, bang on, 85, still holding at 80,
yeah,
bang on, like low, but only low by like 10 inches.
yeah,
Not like I need to be in that kill zone. I need that 20-inch kill zone where if I'm planted that right in the center of the lungs, if the elk walks away or walks towards in between me ranging, I can't re-range. You're drawing back. Like shit's
yeah.
happening, right? So I always think about that like forgiveness zone of like, okay, I got my up and down. I'm good. Smaller, smaller. That's why I increase speed to give me
Yeah, I like
more
that.
more forgiveness. So if it's smaller target, I increase my speed because then that gives me less sensitivity at yardage variation,
Yeah,
right?
that makes
Because
sense.
yeah, because ultimately, like if you're shooting mule deer, I would favor speed over hitting power just for that reason alone. Because then they trot, you're it's go time, right? Like you're launching an arrow. You
Yeah,
don't have to do as much mental calculation, like how much, how high, how low, like. You're still holding on target. That's a good security blanket for a guy. Okay, I stepped away a little bit. Okay, hold high on the kill zone.
yeah.
Don't leave kill zone. If you have a highly sensitive setup, you're gonna have to start really gapping that stuff, and that's not gonna be good.
How many pins are you running? I can't remember on your
Five,
bow.
five on a
Five?
slider. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
still
So,
running black golds. I like how light they are. I've
yeah.
always ran the fives.
Well, and that helps too if you're pin gapping and you know that, especially when you have your gap figured out, if you can have a pin at the top and a pin at the bottom,
This
you're in
is
that
the
money
exact
zone.
sight I'm running.
Oh yeah. That was actually one of the ones I was looking at getting before I got my spot hog. It was between the two.
Just because they're lighter. Old Faithful.
Yeah.
I haven't had any durability issues too. Like I know some guys have said there's some stripping problems with them. Never had
Just
that
with the
issue.
gears and stuff.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Which I've never had that problem, but
Hmm.
apparently it's an issue. But I'm pretty sure they're fixing that though.
Well, that's good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
we've talked about it a million times that there's no perfect bow sight. You might like one thing out of one and another thing out of another, and you wish somebody would put them all together,
yeah.
but it's uh it's never a thing. You just take the best
How
of what you can get for you.
what's your sight set up on your target bow? On your bow tech?
That one there, I have a CBE Trek Pro 2, 2V. I forget what it is. Yeah. Um, Super light duty. I like it. It's got the thousandths pins, which man, can I see rings and dots now at
Yeah.
distance. The 19 thousandths pins um, on the spot hog, they're great. I mean, they're bright. I'll never have to worry about them hunting. It's perfect for hunting. But man, did it ever cover up dots and stuff?
Yeah.
Like I could still
Starburst did a
group
bit.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the size, like when you're looking at 19 thousandths pin at a 2 inch strip of tape, let's say on a target 60 yards away, well, it kind of covers it up. Like you're going, oh, there's a bit of tape. And then you go until you can't see an edge of tape, let's say on each side
Mm-hmm.
or an edge of dot and be like, okay, I'm relatively centered ish. And it always grouped well, but now I can see quite a bit more of what I'm trying to hit from a lot farther out. So I like it for that. Um, it seems light duty though. I don't know that I would take it hunting unless I was
Yeah.
forced to. I'm more worried about the thick shit that I'm going through. And this, so again,
Hmm.
not knocking them because I love the site, but the thick shit that I'm in, I'm pretty sure I'd rip something off. I'm almost positive of it.
Yeah,
Just,
that buckbrush shit, like when you're
yeah.
climbing up cliffs and I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't know that it could handle it, or that even the pins that are on there,
Yep.
it's light metal, probably aluminum or
Yep.
something. And I'm like, man, I could see one of those getting, just an alder branch
Mm-hmm.
getting under there and
Yep.
bending it right out. And you're like, no fault of anybody. And it's just like, well, shit, that's not good. So great for 3D, great for target, that kind of stuff. But yeah. And then the other thing, I've actually found one thing that I hated about it the other night. I fixed it, but for your whole housing, they have four set screws that are on your rail, and they're itty bitty tiny set screws, two on the front, two on the back.
Mm-hmm.
I've had them back out twice on me now,
Oh, that's unacceptable.
and I was pissed because I was shooting in the backyard and it's
Yep.
20 yards. I'm like, why am I hitting high, like consistently high?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like makes no sense because it feels good. Like the shot breaks, everything. We're feeling great. And I grabbed it and I moved it. And I was like, son of a bitch. So I went and I threw some Loctite in on all four.
What, medium blue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so I can get it out in time. If I ever have to put that sight on another bow, I'm going to have to adjust that
Yeah.
and match up. So yeah, I put that on there and, it's something I got to keep an eye on. But again, can you imagine if that came loose on you on the way to a hunt somewhere? If that was your hunting site? Oh,
Unacceptable.
fuck. Yeah. And
Unacceptable.
the price we pay for these sites, come on, guys.
It's bullshit.
I don't care. I don't care what company it is. Come on. Give us some stainless steel screws. Give us some freaking pins that aren't going to rip off. Give us set screws that are going to stay in place.
Yeah, give us some 10.9
Yeah.
steel screws.
Yeah. We are paying good money for this shit. So let's have it last. Because then I'm going to recommend it to everybody for everything, every aspect, not just, you know, but I wouldn't. It is what it is. I do like the site. Don't get me wrong. I'm loving it. Just wouldn't take it hunting. That's all.
So then are you validating your trajectory out? Like, are you using like a custom site tape or are you doing like your own validation tape?
I've got theirs right now. They've got the metal site tapes.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, and I had thought that if I end up in between, um, I would probably do something like precision cut or something
Yeah.
like that and make my own. Um, as of right, I haven't had enough time out to like consistently shoot
Mm-hmm.
70 and 80 yards. As of right now, I'm bang on. I'm very happy with it. So the speed of my bow right now and the arrow weight seems to match the one that I'm on. I'm gonna need a couple weeks at 80 yards, like just to get those practice reps in, um, to see if everything still lines up. That's the only way I'm gonna know. Past 80, I don't find that I can shoot well, but I don't think I'm consistent enough if I'm hitting a line that I could make an accurate judgment as to whether I'm up or down one.
Mm-hmm.
But at 80 yards, when I've been shooting it enough, I can generally hit that 1 inch strip or 3/4 inch strip of tape at 80 yards consistently enough to be like I'm constantly high or I'm constantly low.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't have enough reps in yet with it because I've been so finicky on getting
Yep.
everything set for this other stuff. That's next.
Yeah, eyesight is it's a big limiting factor, right? Like
Yeah.
I know for me, just with my previous experience, especially like bench press level shooting, high magnification. you have to be really careful with your perception of the target. You have to be really aware of, is it hot and high light situation or
Yeah.
cooler in low light situation? Really would test your ability to decide for your aiming, how you're aiming. Because I've noticed with like rifles in low light when it's colder, usually in like the morning, and we're talking like precision to like 0.01 of an inch precision change in your aiming.
Yeah.
Or these are heavy guns, like, 20 something pounds. Like there's very little human element, right? It's reloading, aiming, being steady. And when you're shooting, you notice that. And it's something to take note of. And I've always thought about that when I'm shooting archery is how is my brain perceiving the target? Like, do I
Yeah.
have a lot, like if it's 30, 40 degrees Celsius, do I get heat waves that are like we call it, like if you're shooting an extended range, boiling mirage is what it's called. I hate shooting in that because the target dances, it
Okay.
moves, and you're seeing it perceived high as well because
Okay.
the light is getting bent as you're perceiving the target in between you and the air. Those heat waves bend the perception, the actual light of the target coming to your eye. It'll bend that because it's waving. So then it
Okay.
seems like it's steady, but it's flickering. So then you gotta just it's something to worth focus on. Like if you have something consistently happening in low light, like is it how your peep and your eye is seeing the shadowing effect?
Yeah.
I've taken some of those practices and implement them in the archery, and I've noticed some things. It's because it's mental, right? That's the thing that's so unique about archery is it's not 100% mental, but once you square away all your tuning, your arrows, and you just get to the actual art of shooting and all these mental perceptions and processes of aiming, that's something I've always cued in on. That and my rangefinder, how
Yeah.
it's performing if I am trying to say I have a known distance once you get out there a ways, like I test my rangefinder in low light and highly reflective conditions, like high
Okay.
sun, like high noon, like ranging on where it's shadowing, seeing if I have problems with my rangefinder where it's giving me
Yeah.
discrepancies because the laser dispersion rate is like what it's seeing and how reflectivity affects the rangefinder, and then how my eye is interpreting my aiming on target. That
Gotcha.
like when it's really bright. I know at my range, it is like that last video I sent you, like
Yeah.
it's fucking hard to see. It's
Okay. So
hard to see.
here's a question for you then, back to your archery equipment, but under the exact same conditions. Do you find the color of your peep? Have you tried switching colors to see if that helps with your perception? Because I noticed when I started doing the indoors, I started asking questions because I was having problems with a little bit of reflection off the black.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that seem to use the red.
Mm-hmm.
So I put a red insert in mine because I can adjust the apertures on mine. I gotta say, I I personally stopped noticing the reflection. Maybe there were some other factors in there,
Mm-hmm.
but that's why I'm asking you, like, do you find like have you tried any color changing in your peeps and stuff when it's super
Yes,
bright out?
I
What
I
do you think?
have. I have, but I get it. I get hesitant
Okay.
because I like black.
Yeah.
Is black in high like I think it depends. It depends on I think the design of the peep more than anything because if you have black and it's a longer peep like a tubular peep like say like a Hamsky Raptor or something,
Yeah.
it does have laminations. But if you had that design and it doesn't have laminations, whatever peep you're using, if it's longer, you're really going to see that shine.
Yeah.
That shine is going to be very evident and maybe where a matted color, it would your brain would just block it out. I don't like green.
Okay.
That's one thing I don't like because indoor I can't see the peep.
Okay. And
That's
I
one
do
thing I notice.
now what about like if you're talking okay, you're talking a green peep there. How about a green pin? Do you have
Green pin's
issues
fine.
with green pins? Fine. Okay.
Yeah, green pin's fine. Green ring is fine. It's just the shadowing.
Okay.
It really it really blurs the shadowing effect of the peep when I'm aiming to the point that I do not like it. And it's usually
Okay.
specifically indoor. So like
Okay.
like some others like you get fancy, you got like that green anodized. No
Yeah.
way, Jose. I like just
Interesting.
black for because outdoor is primarily what I'm shooting. And I've noticed I don't have any issues when it's outdoors. I
Okay.
prefer it. But
Yeah, I prefer black outdoors as well. That's what I
yeah.
run.
Yeah.
When I'm inside, I shrink up my I put a smaller aperture in, but
Yeah.
when I'm inside, I have found between I think it's green, red, and maybe it's black. I can't remember what's on the first. Yeah, green, red, and black. And I find the red for the indoors, black for outside, which I just
Yeah.
take out the insert. So it's a 1/4 inch because I run a 1/4 inch because, well, I don't know what you, but like my spot hog housing, it's big.
Hmm.
So I just run the 1/4 inch housing and then I got lots of light coming in. But the
Hmm.
red does seem to help for me anyway, for whatever reason, inside. So interesting. I like to hear other people. I always wonder if just people's eyes, the way you pick up different colors, if that makes a difference too, as to what would reflect more for them or if it's just in general. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just how like personally, I think to a degree, like if you have blurry vision, that's a different thing. But I
Yeah.
think it's how your brain processes the sight picture, just the actual target presentation, like how it's presented. I think that really depends. Because like I said, like when it's like high noon and really like white on black, I have a
Yeah.
tough time shooting that. That is because it's kind of reflective, but also like almost blurring out my sight picture to the point that I'm getting starbursting on my fiber optics a little bit. Um,
What if the colors were switched? Just out of curiosity. So
it'd be
white on
better, I'm
black. What
guessing.
about black on white? Or would the white just be too reflective
I
for you?
think I think it's the white. I think the white is just too bright,
Okay.
and to the point that it blurs the target, like
Okay.
the black. That's why I can shoot as good at 100 yards as 60, 70 is because it's the same fucking dot.
Yeah.
It's fucking blurry. That's us guys with glasses. I hate shooting glasses, but it gets into that eye fatigue too, right? Like
Yeah.
the importance of letting down. Because if you have a blurry ass, blown up, like eye fatigued sight picture, you got to let down.
Do you ever see two pins?
Oh, yeah. Well, with
Because
glasses, I do.
that
With
happens
glasses, I
to
do.
me.
Without glasses, I don't.
Okay, I find when I get eye fatigue, like especially like let's say the Vegas rounds, like
Yeah.
let's say round 6, 7, for whatever reason, long day, pull back and it's like shit. I got two pins now. They're
Yeah.
both looking not bad. They're dancing nicely in the middle there, but which one is the actual
Yeah.
pin? And it's like, yeah, I better let down.
Yeah.
Blink my eyes a bunch and then, oh yeah, back to one pin. That's way better.
Yeah. I usually get that with glasses, and that's why,
Okay.
oh man, like I've drawn back on a bull elk with my kids and wearing my freaking glasses. And I drew back and
Yeah.
I had multiple shitty things going on. Bull is bugling 30 yards. I had to like draw back and I walked all the way around this tree to shoot him. So I had to like creep around this little edge to shoot him. My glasses tipped down to my nose
Oh no.
and I couldn't see my peep.
Oh
So I
no.
drew back. I'm like, fuck, I can't see shit. Freaking hip nudge my nose with my release hand and then like back my head all the way out and then come into my peep.
Oh
That's
shit.
how, because it's like, and guys, like, they don't think about that when it's like low light.
Yeah.
Low light, it wasn't last light, but when it's a tree covered canopy
Yeah.
and you know how the mountains are, like
Yeah.
that sun comes down, it's like you can't see shit sometimes. You really have to focus on aiming in those high stress situations. And that's the thing. As soon as that happened,
Yeah.
I hate shooting with my glasses just for that reason
Oh
alone.
man. I can't hunt with them. I can shoot with them for target
Yeah.
3D, but I found out last year when I was mule deer hunting, just that cold weather. and then the
Oh,
hot face in your
fogging.
breath, and it
Oh,
fogged up, and then it was
ah.
like, nope, okay, I finally get what everybody's talking about. Just
Mm-hmm.
with that aspect alone, I'm like, unless I am forced to shoot with glasses, I'm
Major
not doing
handicap.
this. Oh yeah. I was just like, I can see so many times where this would screw you right over. But yeah, oh well, is what it is. I'll try to go without for
It's
as long as
tough.
I can.
It's tough because I can see shit so much better. Like
Yes.
actually like seeing the animal first, you can see them so much better. But you have
Yeah.
so many handicaps with that. Like the fogging, if you especially if you're pushing up hard on like a hill and you got to get to the top, it could be an opportunity to get a shot off. And then you got fog glasses, heart rate's up. You're not able to see anything. You've got double vision, and then just the whole like I thought about it too. I've had sometimes where like don't get me wrong, I take it easy. I take care of my shit, but glasses and hunting, man, like
Oh.
if they're bent, that lens, I had one where the lens was
Oh
bent.
man.
It really altered my perception of my pin.
Oh
That's
yeah.
something that really bothered me again about trying to wear glasses while hunting. And I'm on the edge where if I get severe eye fatigue, like obviously it bothers me, but when I'm out hunting, I can get through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a lens pop out a bit.
Oh shit.
Oh,
That
crazy. Worst scenario ever. Because it's kind of like cocked off and it's just like your vision's like, what is going on?
that'd almost be like what I deal with progressives, except
Yeah.
somebody's tilted them up, so now
Yeah.
you're fighting something that you can't fight because they're actually sitting on your face, like your
Yeah.
frames properly, but your
Yep.
lens isn't. Oh man.
Yep. Yeah,
But
on a
I
on a fucking mule deer,
oh man.
30 yards, wind blowing. And I cranked my glasses and on the stalk, I didn't really notice it too much. Like it's windy as shit.
Yeah.
I'm like looking at the ground as I'm stalking in, trying to not make noise, so it's nothing major. But then I got to aiming, and I'm like, "Holy fuck! I can't see anything properly."
Yeah.
Let down. Oh, busted. So that's why I've went away from glasses when hunting. It's too much of a pain
Yeah.
in the ass.
No, I
But
hear you.
those targets
And
look
I,
crispy.
oh man, even hiking and stuff like getting trail
Yeah.
cameras, the amount I can pick ears out. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of nose movement through the thick and be like, whoa, what was that? You take your glass off and be
Yeah.
like, see anything and put them back on, be like, oh no, there's an animal there. And without them, maybe I see it before it sees me, but I think more often than not they see me before I do without them.
Do
But
you know
yeah,
where I
definitely.
noticed it the most? Trying to look for my bull.
Oh, really?
Couldn't see shit. Tired as hell.
Yeah.
Didn't have my glasses with me, and that's where I really noticed it. I was like, I'm trying to pick apart like really precise. Like obviously I'm glassing and I'm moving around, but it's like
Yeah.
that's where I really noticed. I'm like, oh man, like that's maybe why I do want my glasses with me sometimes. Like obviously shooting, hunting, and like I can see everything I need to see, but when I'm trying to find a speck of blood
It's nice
at
to
a
have that
distance
extra.
or a
Yeah.
tine or a reflection of a hoof, and just with the naked eye, I could have covered more ground, right? Because then I could see my
Yeah.
immediate area, scan it, and I could see crystal clear, and then glass it with my binoculars. So,
I usually have mine in the truck just so they're with me, but not with me. But if you're in as deep as what you have been, like with last year's bull, I mean, I wouldn't be walking back to my truck to find my glasses. It would be
nope.
like if I got a hind quarter out to them and I felt like I needed my glasses to see better, I'd grab them out of the truck. But yeah, they're just
With that ticking clock, right?
yeah, not a chance. Not a chance.
No. Yeah, it's interesting. It's just figuring out what works for you, right?
Yeah.
Like
Tinker.
obviously
You got to
to the
tinker and you
listeners,
got to
right?
figure it out.
You gotta, yeah, you don't know until you start figuring this stuff out on your own, and like even with like the veins, like maybe like lots of guys, blazers kill shit, man. Like
Oh
they're
yeah.
readily available. Most of my bulls have been killed with blazers, like my bull moose blazers. They work, man. It's
Yeah.
just trying to increase the odds in your favor.
That's
it
right.
gives a personal touch, right? And when you get into something like archery, which is so personal, you're building your arrows, you're taking pride in everything you do. It's no different than reloading.
Yeah.
It's you're taking that little bit of extra care and putting it into your system, so you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah. And just, yeah, I think the biggest thing is make sure you can get, doesn't matter what you want, make sure you can get your parts, your pieces, your accessories that you need. If your fletching strip off, if whatever, it could come down to glues.
Yeah.
If you can't get these glues readily, maybe steer away from something else. Depends on where you live. You live in a city and you got a few spots you can go. Well, you might not have an issue, but maybe if you're in more rural areas or kind of like I am, I'm 3 hours away from the closest place.
Oh, and the
It's
price of
all
things.
online and the price of things. So keep it all, like it doesn't matter what I shoot. I'll give you recommendations as to what works, what doesn't, like with what glues potentially work on, maybe some veins that we've managed to figure out how to stick, but
So what
some
is your
shit
hunting
works
arrow?
right here. And got the still the same as last year, just the gold tip Hunter Pros, 300 spine, um, two 125 heads,
Yep.
and I have frick, I got the fact weight system. I can't remember what I put in there. If I put 20 or 30 up front, I'd have to pull them out to see.
What's the insert style
The inserts, it's just like a regular insert, except they got threads on the back. I don't have one with me right
for the
here
weights? Yeah.
for the weights. And then you literally just screw
Is it
in.
exposed on the end or is it like a hit insert style?
No, it's all inside. Well, it's exposed on the very end by just a tiny bit. Like you can see,
Yeah.
here's one right here, actually. So you can
Oh
see
yeah. Yep.
that's it right
Yep.
there. Um, and then I just have this long Allen key that you need, and you just
Yep.
take off the knock and you feed your weights up. And it's great for experimenting. If you want to try a little bit of extra weight, see if they group together, or if you want to take it out. That's kind of the tinkering part.
It's good for
So,
knowing too if you're on the edge of your spine. Add
yes,
a little weight, see what happens. It'll
that's
tell
right.
you if you're underspined.
So that's why I like it. Seems to work good. I changed from the kind of Knox was I running here? Gold tip Knox. So they got the longer ear. So I switched from those. I wasn't having any major problems with them, but kind of went to I think they're IP6s. So
Oh
a little
yeah.
shorter throat and everything in them. Just trying them out just to see if I can eliminate some of the inconsistencies. There's always something, right? Like they all fit nicely, all that kind of stuff. I got the strings made up from Jordan there for these new knocks, just so you get the proper
Yeah.
knock fit and everything. Was finding a little bit of inconsistency with my knock fit with the gold tips. Could have just been the ones that I've got. There's so much to knocks too. What batch they came out of, which part of the mold they came
Mm-hmm.
out of. So I just, again, tinkering. So I'm just trying these out, and so far so good.
Yeah, seeing if something's noticeable.
Yeah, and I'm not throwing out the other ones. I just put them in the package, and maybe there's another setup down the road where I use them again. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it. And then the way everything was flying today, I'm gonna run those super saber veins, three
Mm-hmm.
fletch. So I'm going from 4 to 3, just because Kyle, the man who builds them, says 3 works better, and so I experimented with 3, and the way they're shooting, I can't argue. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
they're shooting laser beams, they're shooting laser beams. I don't need to go to 4 then. As long as I keep up on my, keep checking the tuning and all that kind of stuff on my bow and make sure everything's 100%, should be good. And like I was saying earlier, total arrow weight, about 468. I'm not a high FOC guy. It is what it is. Whatever it finishes off as, I don't care.
Yeah, like
Um,
12, 13%.
yeah, sure. I'm sure it's somewhere right in there. I don't gun for that. These arrows just group really good with my bow, with the speed that it is. Um, that's all I care about is how they group. And if I can
Mm-hmm.
keep touching arrow shafts at 60, 70, or at least touching veins at 70, I'm good. That's all I care about. And I know the weight of it is, I know it's up there, so that I know I'm going to get good penetration and stuff like that. Um, how about yourself? What's
Um,
your,
the Rip TKO Elites.
okay.
I think I was running the 125s in the front. And I like that just because I like having the weight in the broadhead. Just
Yeah.
personally, I just like. Well, it's kind of bit me in the ass to be honest, but I'm so committed to it now. Like just with the broadheads that I have, to the point that this is just what I've always shot as a 125, just because then I'm getting more weight in the actual broadhead, not
Yeah.
the insert. That's the mentality I have on that. So 125 using a hit insert, with a number two Easton collar,
Okay.
the match grade collars. But I'm gonna ditch the collar because I think if I put the collar on, I'm noticing it's only like 16 grains I think, but I'm noticing like I'm on the edge of my spine.
Okay. So it's
Like,
pushing you over.
oh yeah, I'm really there. But again, if I go higher weight, like stiffer spine, my weight is going way up.
Yeah.
So, I'm on that line. That's why I think I'm gonna go with the HLRs and 250 spine. Definitely can't shoot any of the access arrows because that would put me in like 480
Yeah.
range if I go with I think the 260. Um, so yeah, I'm shooting a 300 right now. AAE hybrid vanes. I am gonna change that up potentially. So yeah, like with the vanes, I think what matters more is just understanding the broadhead you want to shoot. So if you're
Yes.
shooting and this relationship between restorative torque and drag, right? So like if you're shooting a mechanical, you don't need that much restorative torque,
Yeah.
right? Like because you don't have like an air dam, like an actual wedge-shaped object on the end that's catching lift. That's why restorative torque matters because it keeps the arrow on the same plane, especially if you're shooting longer distances with like a fixed broadhead. It's going to have that lift, right? It's going to have additional drag and it's going to lift off. And that's what that higher height, like a Super Saber or the Iron Will stuff,
Yeah.
anything in that, I think it's 5.8 range for height, has significant and high in the back, has highly efficient drag that it's going to like it's torquing up. It's torquing and spinning up the arrow, but it has more torque. It's not just arrow spin up. Like when you go like a max helical, you're getting a lot of spin for stabilization. But when you have an object that's creating a lot of drag where it's tilting you off target, that torque behind the actual design matters a lot more because that's going to allow you to power through and it's going to correct that flight pattern, right?
Yeah.
So, if you're shooting fixed broadhead, like a big single bevel. I've said this on the last podcast too. Like you really need to focus on this stuff.
Yeah.
If you're wanting to shoot that big shit past 50 yards, high in the back, like a Super Saber or like the Hunter Max, like you were
Yeah.
shooting. It's louder, but like the Super Sabers aren't, right? Because it has that gradual pitch on the front. It reduces drag, but also reduces sound, right? Because you have that gradual transition, so you don't have so much
Yeah.
turbulence when it's spinning up through the torque of the arrow. Um, I'm curious if anybody's shooting them, and reach
Yeah.
out to Pete
So
or
that's the
I.
difference right there between them.
Yep,
There's your two that we're talking about.
yep, high in the back.
Yeah.
Very, very good with restorative torque.
Yeah. And narrow going up to it
Yep, for
versus just
sound.
up
Yeah.
in the
I think
max.
I think the hunters are louder just because of the material too, because they tend to flap a little bit more, and with that those edges raising on the sides, like the hybrid material, probably creates a little bit more flopping and turbulence. That's why they're probably louder versus the Super Sabers are kind of beefy veins. They look like they're kind of thick, eh?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I was wondering, like those Arizona Easy Fletchers. I feel like they might do well with these with the Super Sabers because I have a hell of a time getting the air razors to stick, and they're
Oh,
the harder
really?
material on the they're like the AAE design, like the
Yeah.
parabolic cut. I'm pretty sure they have a field cut too, but it's harder material, like it's like a stiffer vein, and it's kind of tricky to get them to stick. And even my OMP uh,
Hmm.
jig versus if I put them in that max helical easy Fletcher, like the contact's so forceful, it's perfect almost every time.
Well, that's good.
So I'm wondering, I might order some Super Sabers and just see if I can get like a 2 degree helical jig to the right and
Yeah.
set it up and see how much contact I get. Because I think, because that jig, it forces the vein to have 100% contact while wrapping around the shaft, right?
Yeah.
Instead of it kind of like the nose, like the front of the vein kind of hanging out a little bit because it's not getting the best contact.
That was the one thing I did is I made sure that I was holding mine down and just focusing on the front and back. Not that I'm doing anything extreme. I'm
Yeah.
guessing a 2 degree offset, but to make
Yeah.
sure that there was full contact on the front and back, just like what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I think I was holding down just to be on the safe side, normally like 10 seconds for the average vein. I went, I'm sure 20 or 30 just because I don't know that you need that, but
Yeah. I think it gets tricky when you're doing like 3 degree with a helical clamp. That's where you're
yeah.
really pushing the limits, right? Because you're getting that 2 to 3 degrees and you're trying to get a helical in there.
And and the diameter of your arrow
Yeah, that matters too, for
will make a
sure.
huge difference. So, well, that's good. That's good.
Interesting, man. I'm looking forward to our trip together.
Oh yeah, I'm stoked for it.
Yeah.
Super stoked.
Are
Yeah,
you gonna
you're
do
driving
any?
up, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
think.
head in Saturday morning, real early, probably leave 4 a.m. if I
Okay.
can.
Yeah,
Maybe a little later, but we'll see.
Kevin's flying into Calgary, and I'm gonna be on the same flight from Calgary to Regina there with him.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So
geez.
yeah, yeah. And I'm sitting in the same row. So
Take it easy on the drinks.
well, I don't even drink anymore.
Party,
Neither does
the
he.
party.
They're probably going to be wondering how the hell are these guys drunk? Big no, we're sober as hell. We're just trash talking. That's
Yeah,
all.
we're just acting like fools.
Going to
Yeah,
bear
no.
camp.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time. Especially it's not as much to me, it's not as much pressure. Like elk is like
Yeah.
maximum pressure. This is gonna be like a fucking vacation.
Well, and
Oh,
just
there's a bear. Oh yeah, there's a bear.
I've
Just
never I've never done a tree stand hunt like that or a tree stand hunted. I've never been over bait before, so
I've
that's going to
never
be wild to
never
me.
even been in a blind, Pete.
Oh, so it's
I've
really going to be
never been in a
interesting for you.
blind. I've never been in a tree stand in my life. Ever.
Really? You're going to
Ever.
fall asleep at some point. I'm going to tell you that right now, especially if they're comfortable. I don't
I'd be
know how
like,
many
how
naps
can I
I've had
get
by
out of this
accident.
tree and
Yeah.
get in there?
Yeah.
Get in there. I'm a ground guy.
You better
That's
figure out what kind of snacks you like, because that's one thing I learned is you get bored and you're like, I'm a little snacky right now. What can I have that's not in a big like crunchy bag?
yeah, even this past year, like sitting water, fucking brutal. Like going down,
Oh
I'm like,
man.
oh, that's okay. It's been like 60 seconds. I wonder what's over that hill. There might be an elk over there.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be
don't know.
entertaining.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Well,
I'm
Pete,
looking
nice
forward to
chatting
it.
with you.
You betcha. All right, we'll talk to you later, bud.
Yeah, get after it, guys.